Hello everyone, we are Group 11 A-commerce. Today we're going to give you an overall perspective of Chapter 3, Building an E-commerce Presence. Our presentation will be divided into 3 parts. The first one is about the planning. The second one is about system development, and the third one is about mobile website and apps. In this chapter, you will examine the important factors that a manager needs to consider when building an e-commerce presence. The focus will be on the managerial and business decisions you must make before you begin. Before you begin to build a website or app of your own, there are some important questions you need to think about and answer. The first question is, what is the big idea? It is about the visioning process. The visioning process includes not only the mission statement, but also about the target audience, the marketplace, the strategic analysis, the marketing mix, and development timeline. Next, it will be the question about where is the money? In this question, there are 2 sub-questions you have to answer. The first one is how you are providing value for the customers. It may be from the portal, the e-tailer, the content service or community provider, the transaction broker, or market creator. The second question, where are you earning the money from? The money can come from advertising, the subscription, transaction fees, sales, and affiliate revenue. It is important to note that you can adopt more than one single business or revenue model. The third question is, who is your audience? Without a clear understanding of your target audience, you will not have a successful e-commerce presence. There are 2 questions here. Who is your target audience and where you can reach them? Your target audience can be described in a number of ways. It may be from demographics, for example, where is their audience and what are the characteristics of that area. It may come from the behavioral patterns, the consumption patterns, the digital usage patterns, the content creation preference, or buyer persona. For each profile, you will need to develop a detailed description.
Now we move to the next question. Where is the ballpark? To start an e-commerce business, it is important to characterize the marketplace in terms of demographics, size changes and trends of the market, and the structures. When regarding to the demographics, you need to know what is your target customer in terms of age, gender, and in levels of income. Regarding the size, trends, and trends, you need to know is your market is growing or receding in size, is the market shifting from the offline to online delivery, and the structures of the market is also a notable factor in terms of direct competitors, suppliers, and substitute products. What is your market share of your competitors? Do the competitors have a special relationship with the suppliers that you may not have access to? And are there any substitutes for the products and services? Your success of your e-commerce business depends greatly on the characteristic of your market you want to enter. Next, the question is, where is the content coming from? Because the content is the single most important reason for your revenue and also the ultimate success. Usually there are 2 types of content, static and dynamic. Static content includes text and or images that do not change frequently, such as the product descriptions, image photos you want to share with the visitor. On the contrary, dynamic content is content that can change regularly, daily, or even hourly. It can be created by yourself, bloggers, fans of your websites and your products. Its goal is to deliver an engaging and satisfying online experience for the visitor. After that, you need to conduct the SWOT analysis, which stands for trends, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Even though it is a simple method, but it is very powerful for you to develop strategies for your business. And also for you to understand where you are stand on. By this way, you can consider ways to overcome the weakness and to build on the trends. Once having conducted the SWOT analysis, you need to come to the next step, develop an e-commerce presence. Generally, there are 4 types of e-commerce presence: website, app, social media, email, and offline media. For each of these types, there are different platforms and related activities that you need to take this group into account. After that, you need to develop a timeline with milestone. This is a general model for a 1 year's timeline, including 6 phases. The first is planning, website development, website implementation, web social media planning, social media implementation, and mobile app. The last step, but not less important, is allocating the budget. How much money do you spend to build your own website? Depends on how much money you can afford, and of course the size of your opportunities. Generally, the cost of marketing, content development, and design accounts half a budget website.
In the next section, section 2, we will look at the system development process. Now, in this part, we will take a look at a powerful tool, which is the system development lifecycle. The SDLC basically shows you how a logical system is created following the 5 steps, which includes system analysis, system design, building the system, testing, and implementation. A key takeaway in SDLC is that SDLC is an ongoing process. Let's take a look at the first step, system analysis or planning. In this particular part, we will need to answer the question, what do we want this e-commerce site to do for our business? This can be answered using your business objective. You need to start with your business objective and then move on to the functionality of your website and the information requirements that comes with it. Let's take a look at an example. Here we have listed some business objectives, the functionalities that comes with it, and the information requirements associated with it. Now, the first one, in displaying the products, we have the functionality of digital catalog and the information of dynamic text and graphic catalogs is required. You can see how this process will evolve with different business objectives and functionalities. In the second step, system design. System design or system design specification is a description of the main components and their relationship to one another. Now, this can be broken down into 2 particular parts, logical design and physical design. Logical design is a data flow diagram that describes the flow of information, the processing function, and the databases. Basically, it's like a logic to your system, while physical design translates those logic into physical components. Let's take a look at an example. Now, here we have a simple diagram of a logical design and the physical design that facilitates from it. You can see how this process will evolve for more complex system. Here we move on to the third part, or the third step, which is building the system. In this particular part, we have 2 main activities, building the system and hosting the system. For each activities, we have two options or two directions to go: in-house and outsource. In-house basically refers to the action of conducting the activities within a company using the company personnel, while outsourcing is hiring an outside vendors to do the job for you. Now, merging those two together, we'll have the decision matrix, which shows you all the possible combinations. And it also has the responsibility level associated with your decision. Now, some other notice regarding system building is that when your system is more customized, i.e. being more in-house versus being more outsourced, then it will incur some risk and gain some benefits. The first risk being the problem of reinventing the wheel. Reinventing a wheel basically means that you are rediscover or doing what others have been done before you. The second risk is the high learning curve associated with building a system. This can lead to the third risk of delaying your market entry opportunity. In business, timing is everything. So delaying your opportunity is a very risky situation. But also you'll gain some benefits. Building a more customized system will allow you the ability to do exactly what you want. Furthermore, having a customized system, building it yourself will allow you enough knowledge to make timely changes with the system when the market demands. Some key notice about hosting the sites. Apart from being in-house or outsourced, we have some other decisions or other options you can go. There are two main ones. The first being co-location agreement, which is a purchase or a lease of a web server, and you locate it in another vendor's facility. Now, cloud services brings the co-location agreement and make it virtual. You're basically renting the virtual space in another provider's infrastructure. These two options or activities have been done by many in the past and currently being doing by big players in the market. Other firms also provide these services. You can take a look at some example of the major firms that provide these services. The Amazon Web Service, the Microsoft Soft Layer by IBM, joined by Samsung and Verizon Cloud. Some consideration with regards to building a website is their design. It needs to be informational. It needs to be easy to use for consumer. Graphics needs to be simple. The functionality needs to be good. The text of the website needs to be legible, and your customer purchase should be easy to use.
Moving on to the next part, mobile app and web apps. Building a website is just one part of developing an e-commerce presence. Nowadays, there are over 75% of internet users access the web from their mobile device. So businesses need to develop their m-commerce presence in order to interact with their customer. There are 4 kinds of m-commerce for you to consider. The first one is a mobile website, which is a version of a regular website in content and navigations, so that user can find what they want and move quickly to make the purchase. Like all websites, the user must be connected to the web in order to load all the information, but the mobile website operate much slower than traditional website, which is viewed on a desktop or a computer. Most large firms today now have a mobile website. The second type is a mobile web app, which is an application built to run on the website. The mobile web browser built into a smartphone or a tablet computer. For example, in the case of Apple,
Their native browser is Safari. Most web apps are specifically designed for their mobile platform in terms of screen size, finger navigations, or graphical simplicities. They operate faster than mobile website, but not as fast as the native apps. The next types is the native app, which is an application designed specifically to operate using the mobile device hardware and operating system. These standalone programs can connect to the internet to download and upload data, but they can also operate on this data even when they're not connected to the internet. Moreover, apps are not one size fits all. Therefore, they cannot be developed for different mobile platforms. To be specific, an Apple app that runs on an iPhone cannot operate on Android devices. The final one, and also the most recent one, is a hybrid app. Developers nowadays combine elements that native app and mobile app have into a hybrid app. So it has the feature of both of the other types. Moving on, so what is the next, what is the right mobile presence for your firm? To make the right choice, you have to go through the same kind of system analysis that we once did earlier in the chapter, which is needed for planning and building a mobile presence. Although there are still some major differences. For example, if your business objective is to drive sales for your company, or your apps, or your website, your mobile website must have a digital catalog for the consumer to make a purchase. In other case, if you're wanting to increase brand awareness or to interact with your customer community, you must incorporate many games and interactive experience into your mobile presence. Once you decide a clear sense of your business objective, you'll be able to describe the correct system functionality and also specify the correct information requirement. Now is the time for you to decide which to develop, a mobile website, a mobile web app, or a native app. However, this is not an either or decisions. The best strategy is always to deliver content in all of the platforms. Moving on to some of the considerations that designer must take into account when they're developing a mobile presence. The first trends of the three growing trends in the industry right now are: the first, mobile design is when you begin your e-commerce presence with the mobile design, not with the traditional design on websites. This helps to create a lean and efficient mobile design, the best possible experience for your customer, given the mobile constraint that function much better than a full feature design on your traditional website. The next trend are very catching on right now is the responsive web design, or RWD, the principle that automatically adjusts the layout of a website depending on the screen resolutions of the device which is being built, whether it is a laptop, a tablet, or a smartphone. However, using RWD can be very costly because you need to completely redesign the interface of your website. Another problem with RWD is that the responsive website still has the size and the complexity of a traditional website. So it really hard and slowly for a consumer to load the whole information on their mobile phone. The last trend is adaptive web design, RWD. This is the technique that detects the attributes of the device, making the requests, and use predefined templates based on the device screen size, along with CSS and JavaScript, and then loads a version of the site that is optimized for the device. RWD has a number of advantages, including faster load time, the ability to enhance or remove functions on the fly, and probably a better user experience for business and also customer. If you already have a website and you don't want to totally develop, you need to consideration all the performance and considerations to make your decisions. The least costly choice would be develop a mobile website because you don't have to redesign everything. You only need to specify which part needs to simplify or reduce. Developing a mobile web app require more effort and cost, but it still faces the same problem with browser-based applications. The most expensive option would be to develop a native app. But if you want intense interactions with your customer when you're wanting to increase the brand awareness, the best experience you provide it is to develop with a native app. So that's the end of our presentation for today. Thanks you guys for watching our video, and I hope you guys learned some of them helpful things about developing an e-commerce present today. If you have any questions or just want to discuss with us, don't hesitate to leave a comment. Please like and subscribe our video to our channel. Thank you.